Hello, hello, and welcome back to Influential Dental, where we're bringing on some of the most, influential people in the entire world in the dental space. We are so excited to have Dr. Kianor Shah on our show today. But before we jump in, I'm Julieanne O'Connor. I'm the co-host to Michael Keeter, and we want to just say, welcome. We're excited to have everybody here. We're so thrilled and grateful to our listeners. This podcast has become a big deal thanks to these incredible humans who are sharing it. So thank you for being here. But today, I think we have this very special guest that we want to dive right into hearing what he's got going on because we're excited. We're going to be traveling with you this year, and I can't wait to talk about this today. Michael Keeter, before we dive in with Dr. Shaw, did you have a couple of words you want to say?
I do. Thank you, Julianne. Yes, I'm very much looking forward to this conversation and hearing about all the exciting things that Dr. Shah is involved with, and I've known him for many years. And also just to thank our audience, as you'd said, we wouldn't be where we're at without them. And then also American Dental Institute, who is co-sponsoring and great friends of us, and thank them for all their support and being part of our journey as well on the podcast. But yes, let's go, Julianne. So lead us off.
Right. So, Dr. Shah, I, of course, have known you for years as well, and you're one of the most influential people in the dental space, unquestionably. And you are leading up the Global Medical Dental AI Summit in London this year. And I'm excited to talk about that. We're going to talk about your background, all of it. But before we jump into that, I mean, we met a while back and we ended up in this private group with some of the most influential people literally in the space, all the way up to the Surgeon General's office. And how did you end up becoming such a voice in this space where people are creating policy, like really at the top of the top? I could go down the list of your credentials. And when we walked into your office, literally it's like walls of your face on the covers of magazines. And we're about to add one to that when you join us on Influence. But tell us a little bit about how you ended up here.
Well, thank you, Michael and Julianne, for having me on the show. It's a great pleasure to be talking to you guys about this journey. Persistence and action have been the two most important aspects of achieving the things we have achieved over the years. But also determination and drive become very important. I have created a culture of working 6 to 7 days. And not only it's my 20th year of clinical practice, but also allocating certain time to business and advancements and serving my colleagues in the profession. So the doctor-to-doctor vision that was visualized many years ago is in full motion now with those attributes that I had mentioned.
Nice. Okay, so you're putting on this event, and I'm going to dive into that right out of the gate, and then we'll go even deeper dive into your background. But the Global Medical Dental AI Summit happening in London, it is no small feat to put on a huge event. You did a big one last year also globally, and it was a huge success. But this particular one in London, I'm so excited about. Michael and I will both be there, and we have some very good friends in London we can't wait to bring to this. But why London? Why this particular event? And how are you bringing in these extremely high level players who are heads of countries? Like, this is off the charts. You guys, if anyone doesn't understand the level he's playing at, it is the highest level of influence that there is really that you can go. So how are you doing this and why London? What's the background there? What's the story behind that?
We are at an intersection of a multi-thousand year industry of healthcare that now has a divine gift given to us to bring it all together, which is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence can cross all of the aspects from hygiene to nursing to medicine to dentistry to pharmacy to optometry to chiropractic, and down the list of the subspecialties it goes. We've all been sort of in our silos, caring for our patients, caring for our families, occasionally going to conferences and interacting with our colleagues. That era is coming readily to an end. We as dentists now are in the forefront of medicine and healthcare because we see these patients twice a year versus all the other doctors, which are mostly driven by pain or concern of some kind. So we have to now, with predictive analysis, where we can predict what the patient could possibly have in 5 years, make the right referrals to the right medical doctors. They should be doing the same thing, vice versa. So we have to harness this powerful tool that's been given to us. Nobody else is doing it, to bridge the gap between all the medical professionals so we come together for the greater good of humanity. This is a great story. So naturally, it attracts world leaders. It attracts C-suite executives, top doctors, top companies, because it's the hottest topic in one of the largest, if not the largest industry on the planet. And we're in the forefront of it now. And to answer your question, it's 20 years of relationship building, religiously going to different conferences, not just dental, medical ones, shaking hands, meeting people, kind of getting to know what doctors want. And the healthcare industry really needs to listen to what doctors want. You're all patients. You're a patient. Michael is a patient. I'm a patient of somebody. So what happens with AI in the near future is going to be detrimental to our own health. And we have to kind of trust doctors with this industry to govern it, to be in the conversation, to lead the conversation when it comes to building a framework around this AI, if you will.
Yeah. And what I want to say as we dive deeper into this, because again, I'm looking so much forward to this event as well, is, dentists, I agree, Dr. Shah, with what you're saying, hold the keys to a lot of this, the mouth body experience. And now we're getting into it more and more with AI, and the companies we work with as well is going to transform everyone's life now and in the future. But it truly is about collaboration. It's what Julie and I, built our reputation in companies is collaboration, thinking outside the box, working with the most influential companies and people. So I very much look forward to, being on this journey with you and growing with you on this. A little more detail about this, because I grant it is truly transformational. Can you get a little bit more detail about, what the people to expect when they come to your conference here in London?
We want to have passionate people, passionate healthcare professionals, and members of the supply chain to come into a setting where it's not like in Chicago or New York or LA, where there's tens of thousands of people running around and you don't get quality time with people. We want 700 individuals to be in one hotel for 3 days for maximum interaction. And there's a lot of aspects to this. There's 24 competitive organizations that have come together for this purpose. But what we can promise is that there will not only be continuing education, but there will be lifelong friendships made, people that are met that you are going to be able to advance your professional career with. So a lot more interactive. 3 days, these people are going to get together, talk, learn, do, teach. And when we leave that conference, I'm hoping that it will be something of very memorable to those 700 individuals that were there in every aspect that they could imagine from what they could get out of a conference. That's my intent. That's the intent of our leadership team. And we're working tirelessly to achieve that.
So, why did it become important to you to focus on the Hippocratic Awards and really highlight people who are, leading with ethics and compassion and some of these things that are so meaningful but so personal? What made you decide to create those awards? I know you have top doctors. There's thousands, 1,000 top doctors in your network there now. But tell us a little bit about that.
That's a long story to be had, but I'll give you the short version of it. In dental school, they taught us about ethics and benevolence and beneficence and all of those concepts. And then you come out of dental school and go into the private sector and you realize all these companies, insurance, government, accreditors, regulators, all that have grown really powerful in the last 50 years. For thousands of years, we're just a doctor, a patient, and technology tools that they have. They've moved themselves in, and the healthcare system has failed billions of people across the world because the solutions that these people provide are the very problems that we are dealing with in our industries. So at some point, somebody's going to rise and says, "Hey guys, it's time to just if you, for example, the insurance industry was limited or minimized, there would be trillions of dollars on the table for patients and doctors today in our commerce. So, and then they can be replaced with an app, with AI, the whole workforce. So, and then when you have business people and third people get into our operatories and decide about materials and people, it's just not right. The Hippocratic oaths are back here. We've taken an oath and they have not. When you have a business person, they think about profit. When you have a doctor, he also or she also thinks about profit, but they have the Hippocratic principles in the back of their mind when they make policy, when they make suggestions, when they make recommendations. So it's prudent to give the authority back to doctors, let the third parties participate in a fee-for-service scenario for the services that they provide, and the global healthcare industry would really be fixed. And if the fraction of these professionals come together, and that's what I envisioned long ago, and I have dedicated my life and career to, is to reestablishing and helping reestablish order in the healthcare industry. The noblest of all, we're God's chosen people to care for others. And marketing and personal interest and corruption and lobbyists and these third parties have completely dirtied the waters for the noble vision that we are supposed to be doing out here. So that's my motivation, and I'll continue this. until they carry me out of here in a wheelchair. I happen to be in the dental office right now.
Yeah, and when Mike and I were in your office in, Palm Desert, Palm Springs area, we had a wonderful time chatting with you, and, we came together literally on this concept of lifting up others who are lifting others up in the industry, which is why we came to your office, right? So, we've known you for years, but we knew you fit the mold, right? You're out there, you're collaborating with these incredible human beings, and so it's exciting to have it come full circle where we get to attend one of these events with you, be a part of it, lift you up and lift up your event and some of the people that you're working with. Also bring in Dr. Farzila Ripani, who's on the cover of our magazine Influence. And she is, I think, going to be speaking now, perhaps at this event. She's based in London, runs one of the biggest DSOs in the world, which is Coliseum. And so I'm super excited. Hopefully you've got that connection that I just made, but I know she's going to
Thank
be
you
a
for that.
yes. And so I'm super excited to be a part of this community where you've brought all of these incredible people together, organizing all of this and doing all of this and working like intense hours, like what you're talking about, 6, 7 days a week, which some of us can do when we can maintain our energy because we have such a powerful reason behind what we're doing. What is it? Because you always are smiling every time I see you. Now you don't hesitate to make an ask. You ask from people. You definitely, require something of people, but what is it that helps you to maintain this level of contribution without burning out of curiosity?
Well, I have a 7-year-old daughter that I come to every day, and a wonderful family. I'm happily married with 2 kids, and she runs out of the door every day as I pull in, and that's the most stress relief, and you know what your purpose is in life. But to answer your question, over the past 2 decades, I've built systems in my head and on my computer and elsewhere where I organize everything. The volume that comes in is relevant, and having to not only care for a practice that you sell, and I invest a lot in my equipment and technology. We're perhaps one of the only offices in Southern California with 5-star reviews on all platforms. Patients love what we do for them. We're compassionate with them. We're not, hey, drill and bill and get them out of here. I spend time with these people to understand what's going on in their life. But time management is very important and learning from your errors. Every time you make an error, you find a solution for that error and then you implement that into your daily program. I am built a little differently. I've trained myself and my hands to be able to respond to 300-400 messages a day. I have trained my brain to categorize all incoming information. It's a process of over years, not expecting anyone else, but everyone can contribute a little bit. What I'm doing for my colleagues is not of financial interest. I'm very comfortable where I'm at in life. I'm doing this for a greater good, and I've explained the motive and the mission and vision behind it. But it takes error. Nothing is as powerful as experience. You have people that are older than you that can give you an advice. I would recommend you take that advice. I would have saved millions. But every time I encounter a new situation, I think to myself, I've been here 15 years ago. I've been here 14 years ago. What was the decision made at that time? What did I learn from that lesson? And how am I going to do it better this time? This is the only way you're going to grow. There's no such thing as you getting up and having everything in the world overnight. You have to earn it. You have to work hard for it. And you have to get up every morning and uncompromisingly pursue your vision. No matter the pessimist, the optimist, whatever other people's opinions are about you or what you do is irrelevant in your world. It's you. You got to move forward with it. And this is what it takes today to do what it takes to get to next step in 5 years and 10 years and 15 years. That's how I sort of function.
Yeah, and most of the people on here are going to know about you, Dr. Shah, because again, you are everywhere, like Julianne said, and you have many, many accomplishments. And they didn't start just recently. They started, I did a little research on you, in undergrad and grad school. You're a valedictorian in your high school. I see 4.0s all across the board from, high school to college. You got your MBA as well. So you're very well rounded. But what I hear and what's impressive and why we want to be a part of what you're doing is, like you said, it is about a singular vision, but it's all those people around you as well. And those people that you reach out to that see that same vision and have that same mind and heart to move people forward. And that's what we're doing. Julianne and I came together under interesting circumstances. We decided, you know what? We're going to join forces. We're going to lead from the front. We're going to talk about influence and positive influence on how to grow not only our industry, but those relationships and people. So, so grateful that we're on this call. And it is about gratitude, as you said, from our families to our partners to what we're seeing long term. So again, thank you for sharing that, and that is so powerful, especially in this new wave, like you said in your event in London with AI, and it's only going to continually really help with dentistry and mankind, humankind as well. So, Julianne, I know you have many thoughts as well, because again, you are very same.
Okay, so, well, one of the questions that came to mind, it's like you're working with so many people, and I'm curious if you have some really good insights about partnerships because this is one of those things, Mike and I are partners in this company, and it's not, we don't come out unscathed. We have issues, we have things we have to work through, right? We have differences of opinions and how to move things, but we typically come back together because we bounce everything against our values, right? So, how do you handle partnerships with so many people that you're connecting with? I think the group that we were in was what, 30 thick, 50 thick? I don't even know the group that you have right now that's working together with you, collaborating on this event. It's a massive group of people.
Yeah, so there's about 100 of those guys, and then we have another 100 in the dream team, which are composed of about 100 doctors that see eye to eye with us, that pull the strings behind the background. And there's layers and layers and layers before the commerce of involved individuals. Disputes are always going to arise. Just what Michael was saying, show me your 5 closest friends and I'll show you your future, is a saying, right? So, if you want to move and then create something great, which I think you guys' mission is phenomenal, of getting with people that have succeeded or cracked the code in commerce or whatever you want to call it, and bringing them on and presenting them to other younger colleagues of ours is a tremendous feat of benefit to them. But internal disputes always arise. I have a policy at the Institute, and many of those individuals that are my closest friends now, my closest allies, my closest partners, are the ones that I've had the biggest disputes with in the past. So we had one big dispute, massive, and the ones that walked as weaklings, there was a few of them here and there. I don't take them back. But the ones that came back got in the most important positions in our organization, because little petty stuff will always come up. Tomorrow is unpredictable. Self-interest will always destroy the relationship. And if you take care of the other person, your needs will be taken care of. If you implement those kind of policies in your mind when you deal with people, then you will succeed. But there will be disputes. There will be more disputes between you and Michael, I'm sure, over the years to come.
I'm
And I
sure.
encourage you guys to
Probably
always
one in the next hour, I would think.
always take a breather. There's probably a handful of people over the years that I've broken bridges with. Try not to break bridges. People will gossip about you in this industry today, and tomorrow they're your best friend, and next thing they have the same enemy, so they combine together and become best friends to become that person's enemy. Stay out of drama. Keep your
Yeah.
mind focused. For as long as you keep moving forward, actions speak much louder than words. All those, people that want to discredit you, all those people that want to talk bad about you, they will stand down because they don't have any other option but just to watch you to succeed. Success and action is essentially the biggest vengeance you should be working on versus trying to pick fights with people and breaking bridges.
I love that. That's beautiful. We see this a lot in dental practices, right? Mike and I get called in to do elite team training in practices, and it's very interesting where you see that, we can walk in and show people very simple methods to overcome some of their disputes that have to do with comparison and just simple silly things, but you see some big falling outs too that happen, right? And when people get so caught up on their ego, the ego side of it, right? I get everybody's operating from the best that they know. Like most people are trying to do the best. They all think they're right. Everybody thinks they're right, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I always find it very
Yeah.
interesting to see how people work through disputes because I think it says a lot about people, right? It's not personal. We do have disputes. I agree with you. And so I love your perspective and this idea of just continuing to move forward. When you and I first met, I want to say it was, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many years ago now, but we came together under the Academy of Oral Surgery. We were talking about just some of the things that we could do to move the industry forward, both from an education standpoint. Also, you had the top doctors. I've personally nominated doctors who have just been incredible forces in this industry who have been acknowledged through top doctors. And so tell us a little bit about top doctors. How do people get involved with that? And, I have people come to me all the time. They want to be, acknowledged as a top doctor, but sometimes they may not fit the criteria. It's not flippant. Like it's a legitimate acknowledgement that really, elevates our industry for a reason. What do people have to do to be a part of that? And why are you acknowledging these high level people and what's going on in the top doctors world? Out of
I'll tell you
curiosity.
that in a second, but I want to reflect back up on what you're talking about. I'm proud of you guys for surviving what I consider as the den of drama, the dental office. There's all sorts of drama back there. Okay, so I've been dealing with it for 20 years, so I know what goes on. So that's a norm across the borders. But as to top doctors, if you go to top100.com and there's an abouts button and a doctrines button. We have certain doctrines that have been instituted and ratified by our regents, which are also there. You're not some kind of a predatory awards play where you come and pay and play. You don't accept any money actually for these awards, and never have. It's all been self-funded by me. And these awards, there's an election committee behind it. You go under the tab that says nomination. You fill that nomination form out, and every 2 years we hold a Doctors World Gala where we give these lifetime achievement awards. And the kind of people that we're looking for are innovators, educators, anybody positioned well in the supply chain who is able to help us move our vision forward. So I invite all of my colleagues to apply. If they don't make it in this year, they make it in next year. We always look back to all those applications from years before. But that's the first step to getting into this doctor to doctor movement. My vision about this when I started the top 100 was, they put 100 guys, 100 scientists in a room. And these 100 scientists came out with a nuclear bomb. What can be achieved if you put 100 really, really smart doctors, accomplished doctors in the room? What will come out of that? And I look at it today. The Top Doc is a little bit younger than the institute itself, but Top Doc, it's 5 years into it. And look at the things we're doing. We're putting events on, world leaders are coming in, and so on and so forth. So I encourage you guys that as a first step for any healthcare provider, and we are now that we have proved this model in dentistry, we launched medicine last year. That's growing tremendously. This year we're going into pharmacy, next year into optometry. We're coming after all of them that have been wronged. It's just a matter of time before we're going to come looking for those third parties. So I encourage you guys to join this vision. We're doing this for you, and it would be appreciated if you contribute something. But that's very easy to do. There's no costs involved at any process. This is not an awards game. You have to genuinely contribute to the healthcare industry if you want to be part of us.
And that's what I love you saying from the start of our conversation. And you've obviously been a very successful dentist and in dentistry, but you're basically influencing others to look bigger and think bigger, right? And why not? I mean, as you said, by the time you spend with your patients, what good oral or great oral health care can lead to a lot of other types of saving them from other modalities in healthcare, right? Saving them from other diseases, heart disease, and so much more. So I love that call to action from the dental community, whether it's vendors, whether it's manufacturers, whether it's other colleagues, lead from the front. And I love dentistry. I've been in it almost 19 years in various capacities. Julieanne has, and that's why we've come together is really to help grow dentistry to lead from the front. And that's so refreshing. So very refreshing.
Curious about your like way back. Where'd you grow up? What's your your child history? What's your story? What's your personal story? How'd you end up in dentistry?
Oh, whoa, that's a rabbit hole. Okay, I was born in Tehran, Iran. As you guys listen and see all these things going on
Well,
in the TV. When I was 9, I moved to Germany, and I was educated, raised in Germany. And I'm giving you the short version. And then when I was 16, I moved here. I excelled in high school there and started undergrad. I finished undergrad very quickly, and I ended up marrying a Southern belle while I was in Illinois. And we have 2 kids together and sort of are happily living here in California now. That's the short version of the story. But a lot has happened in between.
That's a really short version. That totally doesn't count. We will definitely be having another episode
uh,
on
uh,
that because
I was going to say
that
you
was
don't know you don't know Julianne, right? You're not going to get away with that short answer. We are going to have you back because it is important, to kind of know the story or who's influenced you. And that's, I guess, a question I have is, who's been influential in your life to get you where you are. We'll dig further back into your story because it is very amazing. But we're obviously, we're about influence, right? And the top influential people in the world. Tell us about what influence means to you and who's been influential in your journey and continues to be, I guess. But we're not letting you off the hook on the rest of it.
I wouldn't say who, I would say the events of my life. I was born 2 days after Iraq bombed Iran. Then I was 9. I was right before I became 9. I was in the center of Tehran where Khomeini died, and I was in that crowd. And I moved to Germany, and then the wall came down right after I got to Germany. The wall came down and all those political events. And then they won the World Cup. Then I came to the United States, and 9/11, at the time of 9/11, I was class president of my dental school. So I had to address the dental students. And these world events I've grown up in the Jewish, in the Christian, and in the Muslim environment where I can connect with all of them. I understand their positions in life. So, and having traveled, my dad used to travel a lot into over 60 countries. I've been between with my dad and myself now with lecturing and this and that. I see cultures. Humanity is not bad. Humans aren't bad inherently. It is the way we are brought up and the way we interact with one another and the stereotypes we develop about each other. So I wouldn't say one particular person. Lots of events that I can go into further. If we decide to have another one, if you guys will have me on the show again, I would be more than honored to talk about those things, but no single
I
individual.
I'm inspired. It's funny, sometimes I kid around that, I'm not inspired by the people who just hit these high pinnacles of success. I'm inspired by what they've overcome, right? And so when you hear about world events, I get it. That has a huge impact. It also diminishes the petty stuff very, very quickly. It gives you a massive perspective. Anyone who's dealing with, having family in Iran and knowing what's going on right now, is touched and moved, and so many things are going on through people's minds right now, especially when people feel helpless, right? And yet then there's these opportunities to do these profound things that can change things in this world. So I love that you pointed those things out. Even my father-in-law had gone through the whole wall coming down in Germany thing, but he had escaped first, and you also speak German, right? You speak German and Farsi?
I still have rocks from that. We went out there with the high school and collected rocks, but I still have those somewhere in the garage. But yes, I speak fluently German.
Yeah. So anyway, I love that you brought up these very big world events because I think those things ground us. They remind us if we don't disconnect from it. I think the biggest problem is that we numb ourselves sometimes and then we don't think that we can have an impact on the world. And so, of course, maybe we can't take on everything, but we can certainly make some sort of a contribution. And one contribution that we can definitely make is to not play small, right? And this is something that you see a lot where people shrink and they tend to hide, because they're so fearful of judgment. They're so fearful of looking bad, and at the end of the day, man, you have to take risks and you got to look bad sometimes actually to hit high levels of success, I believe. Sometimes you got to take some chances. And so can you speak to that at all? Like, have you had some embarrassing moments in your life? Have you had some failures that you've overcome that taught you more than
Oh,
your
that's even a
wins?
longer podcast, but you got to learn from those failures and those embarrassing moments because you can't become the person that, whatever your religion is or whatever you believe in, you can't become the best person in your state if you don't have those experiences. And people that get the golden or diamond smooth or whatever they call it, they don't appreciate what it takes to be able to succeed and to be able to help others. So I'm very grateful that I've had the opportunity to absorb all of those things that have just made me stronger. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you just stronger and stronger. So I'm very thankful for that.
We are going to be wrapping up here in just a moment. But are there any words of wisdom you can leave our listeners with? This podcast goes out to everybody in the profession. It's been hugely supported by the people who've been on it, who are very influential. And that has led to a very successful podcast. And we are so grateful for people. And so we know we have people from not only who are dentists, but also dental professionals. So, any advice that you can leave them with? And before we wrap up today, I definitely want you to be able to share about the Global Medical Dental AI Summit and how people can get involved if somebody wants to run and try and scramble to get a ticket before they're out.
Be persistent and determined. Take advice from your superiors, seniors, I should say, that have experienced these things so you don't have to experience those failures. Learn from them and create a vision. Surround yourself with 5 to 10 people that are loyal to you, truly loyal to you, and that will work with you and see your vision through, regardless of what the other 8 billion think. That's a short of that. As to the summit, Global Medical Dental AI Summit, will take place in London, as you know. doc.com/London will get you to an area where you can easily navigate all the different partnerships and programs that are going on. There's a registration page. I encourage you guys to benefit from the early bird package, so you don't have the exuberant costs that will follow after February 15th. And I look forward to seeing you in London.
Cannot
Yeah.
wait.
And also, yeah, follow Dr. Shah. Dr. Shah, please share with our audience, where they can find you on Instagram, LinkedIn. You can see all that. Obviously, we'll be promoting the event with you as well, not only on this podcast, but on our social medias as well. And I highly recommend, if you do want to make a change and you want to think big, I agree with Julieanne, do big then, right? Don't just think it, do it. So how can people find you in various social medias as well?
I would be so happy if they found us through the hashtag Doctor to Doctor. But personally, me, kianorshaw.com. You're welcome to go anywhere to Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. It's usually the Kianor.Shah or Kianor Shah or Dr. Kianor Shah. Any of those things will quickly lead to me. For some reason, there's not another Kianor Shah running around. So I'm very lucky in that regard.
So thank you so much for joining us today. You can also follow Michael Keeter and myself on social media at Influential Dental. I'm on Spelling It. Mike is Michael Keeter 66. And so, but the easiest way to find us is Influential Dental. And then if you have any questions and you forget everything you heard today, but you go to at Influential Dental on Instagram and you DM me, I will make sure you have all the information unquestionably. And we'll also post some things about it as well and make sure that that information is out there. So thank you to our listeners. Michael Keeter, thank you for being here. Dr. Shah, it is such an honor, such a pleasure having you. I'm so
Namaste.
grateful for
Thank
for
you.
joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.